to the Sidebar Cantina, the podcast where we talk about Star Wars, pop culture, bad addictions, or whatever the hell we feel like talking about. I am Mr. Jason Roscom. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
And
I love how when you say it, it seems like we've been gone forever. It's been one fucking week.
yeah, but a week break, so it's been 2 weeks since we've done this, and it feels like it's been forever.
It
honestly.
has been. Well, I guess when the Amazon guy is showing up every fucking 5 minutes at your place delivering shit, then I guess it feels that long.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that, but we're not alone today.
No,
join us.
There's a stranger amidst us.
Yes, I wouldn't say he's a stranger at this point. Longtime friend of the show, Jedi Master. Grandmaster Bob. Welcome back to the show, sir.
It's good to be here. Wait, so how many times have I been on now?
Oh God. I think you were on like twice way in the early days.
Yep.
And this is like your second or third time on here in recent.
So am I the most visited guest? Is that how this works?
I believe so.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire with the belt.
We should have something in the studio, like where kind of like our recording studios do, where they have somebody the guest sign some shit.
Yeah.
We should have something like that.
Okay.
You can do that. I mean, I'm not famous. The signature's not going to be worth anything.
It's irrelevant. Like,
Right.
None of us are famous.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what are we talking about today?
We're finally talking about Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Finally.
I beat it. I played through the whole game. Well, I played through the story of the game.
Right.
And we're going to get into it. We're going to talk all about the game itself. We'll have a lot of non-spoiler talk in the beginning, and then we'll tell you when it's, spoiler time for the story and all that. But yeah,
Spoiler time.
We're doing a deep dive into Jedi Survivor, and one of the reasons why Bob is here with us is because he's played through it multiple times now, and he is the Jedi Grand Master. So yeah.
Beat it on, well, we can get into it, but yeah.
Yeah. So, he's going to have his expert opinion on all of the different game modes.
Watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Look, do what I said because I said it.
You remember the Moon Master?
Of course I
episodes?
remember the Moon
Right.
Master.
Every time that you say that, the Jedi Grand Master is immediately what I think of. You are the Moon Master.
You are the Moon Master.
All right. So, I guess before we get into all of that, should we handle some business? Maybe talk about Patreon first?
You talk about Patreon.
All right. Well, I will do that as soon as I bring up...
All this shit about me, like, are you ready? We're waiting on you.
Come on, Dave.
Like,
Dave, it's 5:29, Dave.
right. And then, are we recording? Oh, wait. Do we have Patreon up? Oh, wait.
Is there a memory card in here?
I don't know what you're
There's
talking about.
reverb on.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on the reverb. Anyway, we'd like to give a huge shout out to all of our current patrons: Wally Frogmore, The Orange and Fetch Show, Steve Long, Shotgun Mark, Scott and Kim from the Use and Abuse podcast, Nicholas Schaefer, Nick from Sweet Studios, my wonderful mother-in-law Patricia Goodstein, Lord Helmet Fire, Kristen Roscom, Janine Vickers, Ivo G, Frederick Martin, Frank Kalevich, Dragon Buddy, Don Solsky, David Schmuck, Chantal from Pop My Culture, Catherine Rennick, and Carly Vickers. If you'd like to consider becoming a supporter, you can find us at patreon.com/thesidebarcantina. Thank you again to all of our listeners and supporters. You are the reason why we do this. Over to you, Dave.
The Sidebar headlines. Sidebar Family Celebration is just 11 days away.
That's right.
So, that's right. Today is the 7th.
C.
3PO. And it's the thing is the 19th.
Okay.
Celebration's on the 19th.
Okay.
So that would be 12 days.
It would be 12 days, right?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
No, I was a finance major. It's 12 days.
All right. That's fair. All right.
Ask the finance guy. He knows.
Right.
7 plus 12 is 19.
Well, depending on when you're listening to this, then.
Okay.
It's really, but it doesn't matter because Saturday, August 19th is the dates. And if you're going to be in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area on Saturday, August 19th, stop by and hang out with us. But RSVP first because I'm not letting strangers amongst us. Well, I guess everyone's kind of strangers.
Well, I
We
mean,
don't know.
we've met a lot of these people in person already before.
Have we?
Everybody but Chantal and Josh.
And Tina.
Oh.
and like,
There's only a few people that we haven't met in person at this point.
okay,
I don't
you
know.
say that.
I haven't seen the official guest list in a while, so I don't know.
It's fine. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's
What could go wrong?
what could possibly go wrong. RSVP to Luna Girl at Sidebar Cantina on X, which is still weird. It's still weird to
What?
like the whole Twitter X thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's fine, I guess.
It's just why. You've already got the brand recognition with Twitter. Be it positive or negative, at least people know what that is.
It's like the I don't even want to get into it.
Well, I mean, this is a guy who like names his children like, crazy names too.
True.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has basically fucking the world by the balls by having more satellites surrounding the Earth than anyone else in the
Crazy like a fox.
yeah. So way to go, X. We're fully on board. Or at Sidebar Cantina. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, it's fucking yeah. We're doing our celebration on August 19th. It's gonna be great. Make sure you RSVP with Luna Girl. Yeah, I'm working on schedule events. I actually was working on that today, doing the checklist, figuring out what I need for technology. It's getting to be crunch time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed.
That's
That it? Okay.
That's it.
So, Star Wars news-wise, there's been a lot of promo for Ahsoka recently. Like, it's really starting to ramp up. I'm seeing a lot of commercials.
Yeah.
They released a couple of mini trailers almost.
There's some good shit in those trailers, though.
Yeah.
One of the best things I've seen about this entire series is that they've finally gone back to like 40-minute episodes.
Right.
Like they and it makes sense. I never realized it, but there were some things off about some of the Mandalorian episodes in the last season, and then I remember reading this article, and they said, well, with Ahsoka, they're going back to like 40 or 45-minute episodes. And I thought, that's it. That's what's been off. It's the pacing.
Yeah, because Mandalorian, sometimes it would be like 32 minutes, but then sometimes it would be like 50 minutes. And, there was no consistency in the episode lengths.
Yeah, and in those trailers, like, I don't know if I just hadn't noticed it before, but when you have, I guess the expectation of Ezra coming back into it at some point, but seeing, what's her face, Sabine, like with lightsabers and
Yeah, it's Ezra's lightsaber.
Yeah. That he gave her at the end of
right.
Rebels.
But seeing her actually like using it and stuff like that, it's just making me more excited about it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it'll
That's
be
another
interesting to see if she's. I'm assuming from watching all the Rebel series, she's not a Force wielder. So
Right.
So what is this? Is she Ahsoka's apprentice? Is not a Force wielder? Is it? I mean, what? Or
is she using it like she had used the dark saber?
Yep.
Right, and just is able to use it effectively, unlike Mando, who couldn't fucking barely pick up the dark saber.
Well, I mean, it was interesting going back because I sort of rewatched all of Rebels in preparation for all this, and that 2 or 3 episode arc where she learns how to use the dark saber, it sort of reminds you, oh yeah, this is hard. If you're not a Jedi, it's even harder, but it's doable with proper training.
Yep. So, yeah, I'm just excited. It's prepping me for the fall, I guess.
Oh yeah, the expectations are growing.
Yeah, it's like everything else. It's like,
I
oh man,
don't know. Filoni literally wrote the whole thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Look, there's no reason that it should fail.
But you think it's going to fail?
Well,
I
it's
don't.
just we've
we've
set ourselves up before.
I
Yeah.
have so much scar tissue that
From what?
The Last Jedi, for starters.
Oh my god. Okay. Oh, all right. Fine. That's not a TV series.
True.
from
Book of Boba
Obi-Wan,
Fett.
Book of Boba Fett.
All right.
Obi-Wan was fine.
Look, Book of Boba Fett was the Mandalorian season 2.5. As long as you accept that, it's not horrible.
I didn't like the Boba Fett pieces of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think they wasted that. I think Obi-Wan had they towed the line way too closely on what they wanted to affect on the canon, and they didn't need to
With Obi-Wan.
with Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I felt like it didn't really explore a whole heck of a lot.
No, there was parts of it, and I think I explained this when we did our recent ranking episode, but there were parts of Obi-Wan that just in the abstract, I really fucking enjoyed, like Darth Vader dragging people down the fucking street and just annihilating. Like, just give me those pieces and show me those on the screen. I'll watch that all fucking day. The Obi-Wan storyline, I could give two shits about. The baby Leia parts and all that other stuff, that it has too much. You're jumping around in the puddle of fucking canon that you don't need to be in.
There wasn't a lot of storyline to really speak about. Like, the whole series.
Why have any involvement with Leia at all?
Well, that's my point. The whole series sort of seemed to me like a side quest. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't advance anything. It was like
it was Canto Bight. It was the Canto Bight side quest.
Yeah,
like it had no relevancy at all. There was no reason to do it.
Well, and because they couldn't mess up canon, that's exactly why it probably felt like that. Because it had to be a side story that affected nothing else that we've already seen and established at this point.
And you had to be in a situation where Obi-Wan had to let Anakin live at the end when he clearly could have fucking ended him.
Yeah. I mean,
It just
still
it didn't need to exist. And especially as somebody who read the Legends, Kenobi book, which was fucking excellent. It was an excellent telling of what Ben Kenobi's story was up to Tatooine, or what was going on Tatooine. Like it was perfectly told. It was one book, I think, and it was good storytelling. I think they could have done it so much better. Now, again, what saves it from being just in the cesspool of other things
from like Star Wars Holiday Special level.
Yes.
The holiday special is an American classic. How dare you?
Anyway,
I'm not arguing that. There's a lot of American classics that are pretty horrible.
That's fair.
didn't we watch one with seagulls or something? What was that fucking show?
Birdemic.
Birdemic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Where's that coat hanger? Wasn't there a coat hanger in here?
It's still in here somewhere.
A representative of that fucking movie. Of the movie. That's what it's for. Not for anything else.
I get it. I
Fucking
get it.
sickos.
I get it.
I know what you're thinking out there. No, I just think that Obi-Wan had those out, like, visually it was amazing. Mm-hmm. They did so well with just what they did with Anakin, or they did with Darth Vader. There was some really, really just beautiful cinematography in it, and just watching Vader be Vader was fucking great.
Well, they're bringing Vader. They're bringing Anakin back in Ahsoka. Looks like it.
Yeah,
It looks like he's gonna make. Hayden Christensen's gonna make an appearance there somewhere.
Yeah, which I'd be curious to see how they do that.
So is it not
probably
fucking interacting with Obi-Wan to fuck up the canon? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, probably flashbacks. I would imagine.
Flashback or Force Ghost?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's dead, right?
Yeah.
And, somehow he figured out how to have a Force ghost at the age of 20-something when
Right.
all the rest of them are old and
Yeah.
decrepit.
Right.
Obi-Wan's looking at himself going, what the fuck?
The fuck, man.
Yeah, man, if only you had bled over to the dark side, you'd know how to do this.
You're
That's
right.
right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the secret.
It's the secret.
Yep. So, anywho, yeah, Ahsoka coming soon. Very excited.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah. The Wednesday after the celebration.
Celebration.
Yeah. So, good times. All right. Anyway, are we ready to move on and get to our weeks?
This is me counting in my head, like, how many weeks is that? I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Like 2 episodes from now?
2 episodes, 2
Why is
Wednesdays
penis?
from now.
What is happening?
I don't know. I saw that and I was trying not to acknowledge it.
Why is penis in the chat?
I don't
Is there
know,
somebody named penis? Hang on, let me scroll up.
Dave. This is what happens when Dave starts paying attention to the chat. He gets completely sidetracked.
Don't
I'm trying to not look. I'm being.
don't look.
All right. Well, I'll give you something else to look at because we're getting into our weeks.
Oh yeah.
And this is what happens when you leave me unsupervised for 2 weeks. I buy Black Series figures and it's unhealthy, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It's not good. But I
You
have
can't even make the case that he's saving this for like a college fund for his kids because
No.
they're all.
no.
No.
Definitely not. Well, my story is, I think I've told you this before. My story is that I'm hoping I have grandkids someday, and this will all be what I play with my grandkids with when
You're
they're
gonna pull them out of the package and play with them.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know that I believe that.
That's the plan. Anyway, well, that's.
I mean, that may be what you tell yourself in order to justify the money that you spend.
And you know what? That very well could be. It could be just me just making excuses. But either way, that's what I claim that. What's going on? He was not unsupervised. He was just sneaky. Whatever. Should we talk about all the nail polish you've been buying? Do we really want to go there?
Mom and Dad are fighting.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
I really, what's the cost benefit analysis between the two things?
You can get high off nail polish.
Oh, there you go. See, it has dual purposes.
That's true. All right. I got you there. So yeah, you can't see it on camera, but I have a massive pile behind me, and we're just going to start going through it because I have a whole bunch of additions to
The sacred Jedi.
So we'll just get started. So I went back to GameStop's website, and they still had a bunch of stuff on clearance. And because we're doing Jedi Fallen Order, I got another one of the KX security droids that I'm going to open.
Nice.
This is like they had stuff on clear. This is like when my wife is like, she's actually never done this, but friends of mine, significant others. Oh, I bought all this on sale. Look how much money I saved us.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at the receipt. Doesn't seem like you saved me any money.
Yeah, they didn't give you anything back, so it looks like you just gave them money. And I got another one of the Scout Troopers because they're still on clearance for like $10. So we opened one last week, and I want another one to open. Damn it! Because playing Jedi Survivor, I fucking love these guys. Love playing against them, and they're a pretty good challenge. But it's also fun to just like force grab the shields. Well,
I just love throwing the fucking shield. I like taking the shield from
shields
them
are great.
and fucking throwing it at them.
You know, if you play with the perk that changes the difficulty, it changes the actual enemies you fight. There's a perk you get once you beat it. The shield troopers are all over the place, and I love it because I'm just like slam, like just winging at stuff.
The fuck?
Tusken Raiders were also on clearance for like $10 each, so I got two. One to open, one to keep in the package. These are credit collections. Again, that's why their color is a little different.
Let me see this. These look like knockoffs. Are
Well,
you sure these are like?
So
They look like gold.
yeah, exactly. So these credit collections, I've got a few of them over here. Also, they basically took figures and they just did like a weird coat of paint on them. And it's like, oh, this is the credit collection, and it's like, why? What is the point of that?
Their point is
the point is to get you to spend money on them.
Yes, they got your credits.
But I only did when they were on clearance.
Yeah, look how much money he saved.
Exactly.
and he got two of them.
Yeah. And
He saved twice as much.
we're not even like scratching the surface yet. So.
Oh my God, Jason.
All right, what is this one? I forgot. This is Bob, I don't think you've seen my Return of the Jedi section since last time you were here.
No, that's new.
Yeah, so they started releasing all these figures in these retro Return of the Jedi things. That's when most of us came up during the Return of the Jedi era. So I like looking at these, and they've got the Kenner logo on them and everything. I'm like,
I wonder how much it cost them to buy the Kenner logo.
well, they bought Kenner years ago.
Okay.
So yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Hasbro absorbed them. Like I think it was in the early '90s. But anyway, so they release all these figures in these retro packages that look exactly like the ones that we bought in '83.
Yeah.
So I've now made it a point. I'm just going to get every one that they've done in those retros, and the most recent one I got was Boba Fett.
Wait, these
Boba Fett.
These aren't because these are much smaller or bigger than the.
Well, obviously these are Black Series figures, the 6-inch Black Series figures, but they're in the
they're
packaging
just in the retro packaging.
Yeah, to look like that.
Got it.
So, yeah, I got Boba Fett, even though I had mentioned at one point I wasn't going to get him because I have a bunch of different versions of Boba Fett already, but
What?
I'm like, fuck it, I might as well go all in at this point.
What is that? Here, Bob, can you hand me that? There's a little doodad there.
Dave, you might like this one.
Oh, he's got a. That's different. This one's got a hook on it. See the hook?
Oh, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
a
that's-
grappling.
Yeah, he's got a
hook.
grappling hook. That's a little bit different. See,
Yeah.
so it's got different stuff, and it's got a removable jetpack. So this guy's different.
Yeah. So I think this next one was like a Target exclusive or something. It's a 2-in-1. Royal Guard and a TIE Fighter.
Well, because there's a TIE fighter pilot on it.
Yes. Yeah. So, and I think it's carbonized too, which I know you don't like the carbonized ones as much.
What are the carbonized ones?
They kind of put like a metallic like coating on them almost. Dave just saw the TIE Fighter pilot, and yeah. So while he's gawking at that, I got plenty more where that came from. More Return of the Jedi. So this one is actually very interesting because this is the Rebel Commando, so from Endor. But if you look, he's got an alternate face, which is the Rex face, the guy with the beard. So you can put the Rex face on him, though it doesn't actually say it's Rex. We all know at this point that it was Rex.
Did George Lucas sell his rights to all of the merchandising when he sold out of Star Wars?
That's a good question.
I thought he did.
I mean, because if he didn't, like, this guy has literally one decision he made in his early 30s, has basically paid his lifestyle for the rest of his life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it allowed him to build his empire. I mean, honestly.
yeah.
All right.
I still say that revelation that we had with the latest watching of Return of the Jedi with the guard.
The guy in the scout uniform?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
You know what we're talking about?
We talked about it, and I forget now because I was on the episode we all talked about.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we all saw it in the theater, right?
That's right.
What was the revelation?
It was
The bearded guy was in the scout trooper uniform.
Right.
Right.
When they got rolled up.
Right. So he was undercover basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he was outside, and then he put on the scout trooper uniform to stand guard while they were placing the charges.
Right.
So when they got jacked up and they were outside, with their hands over their heads
On program.
Right.
Yeah, on program, he was actually in a scout
Which
trooper
would not be the
uniform.
first time Rex put a scout trooper uniform on.
So, yeah, but they released that figure, and it's just cool that they added the extra face to do the bearded guy. So, keeps pulling black strings. Oh, and there's more. There's one last big box.
But wait, there's more.
And this one, you're going to see a theme in this one very quickly. And it's one that was desperately needed. We're going to start.
The theme is they were all on clearance.
No, these ones were not. These ones.
Oh,
Jason,
I paid.
he didn't save any money on this.
Yeah, no, I paid retail price and more for these. First is you might recognize him from Rebels, Zeb.
Wow, look at the detail on his face. Fucking hell.
Yeah,
It's heavy too.
yeah, they do a good job with those.
Christ on sale. Look how detailed that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, do a good job.
Yeah. So the next one from Rebels is Harrison Dula.
Ah, Tits McGee.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which again, like Dave keeps saying that, but if you watch Rebels, she doesn't have that big of a rack. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter. Look at her here.
She's no Ayla Sakura. I'll tell you that much.
Well,
I don't even know who that is.
She's the blue Twi'lek that ended up getting killed.
Oh yeah.
Always walking around in like a crop top, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. So my next one from Rebels is Sabine.
Yes.
So I finally got a Sabine.
Yeah, at least she looks of age in this one.
Don't make it weird, Dave.
That's my job. That's what I'm here to do.
All right, and then from Rebels,
Kanan Jarrus.
we've got Kanan.
Caleb Dune.
Yep.
Is this
Pre-blindness.
pre-blindness?
Yeah.
I don't know if they've made a Black Series figure.
Pre the ghost be having to be ADA compliant.
Yeah. I don't know if they've made a Black Series figure of him with being blind or having the mask on, the Guardian mask, or any of that. But then from Star Wars Rebels, we've got Ezra.
You don't have to say that every time. Like we get the theme.
All right, just making sure you understand what's going on here. And then the last one that I have, also from Rebels, which I think I already have this version of her somewhere, is Ahsoka. And I think this is a duplicate that, yeah, I think...
Yeah,
one of
she's
those.
right up there.
Yep, so I'll be opening this one. So yeah, another Ahsoka.
Nice.
Do you know how fucking expensive Chopper is from this series? So expensive that I didn't buy him. They want like $80 for a
Shut
Chopper.
up.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll have to wait until Ahsoka comes out, because I'm sure they're going to do a whole Black Series line just for Ahsoka, and we'll have a lot of these same characters in there. But
Well, Chopper has pretty much some of the best lines of the series.
Yes.
You can find season 1 and 2 where they translate his, and it's about as foul as you can imagine.
Oh, I love it.
So yeah, that's all the Black Series figures that I acquired since our last show.
Are you reading the chat again?
Yeah, I'm reading
Did we
the
not
chat.
talk
All
about
right.
reading the
So
chat?
the only other thing I had for my week, and I know
saw Rack.
I know some of the people in our chat get very defensive when I bring up Pennsylvania drivers, but if you people wouldn't stop acting like morons on the road, then I wouldn't have to continually say this. So it's well documented my feelings toward Pennsylvania drivers. They should not be in our state. Stay on your side of the bridge, and then we'll all be fine. But so I'm coming back from lunch on Friday during work. I'm blasting down this road. It's like a 3-lane road. I'm the only person. It's one of those weird scenarios where you're like the only person on the road,
Right.
where there should be a bunch of other cars there, but I just like happen to turn before this light turned green. Anyway, I'm blasting down this road, middle lane, 3 lanes. I got to turn right in about 3/4 of a mile, but I'm staying in the middle lane because people turn right sometimes off of this the side, and they'll go into the right lane and whatever. So I'm keeping my distance, but I know eventually I'm gonna have to make a right turn. See this car turning right as suspected. I'm blasting down. The speed limit on this thing is like 45. I'm going 65 down this road because it's Jersey. And this car is turning right, and I'm thinking, okay, they're turning right. They're probably just gonna stay in the right lane. They see me coming. I'm the only car on the road, so they've got to see me coming. They got to see me blasting down to 65 miles an hour. As it's starting to turn, I catch a glimpse at its license plate. And I see Pennsylvania. I'm like, don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it. What do? They get right in the middle lane, right in front of me to where I have to slam on my brakes so I don't hit the fucker. But you know what he did after that? 100 feet down the road, he makes a right lane change and turns right. What is wrong with you people? Pennsylvania drivers.
Now-
I swear to God.
Now, any good therapist would pose the question at some point during this conversation, perhaps right about now. What part of this entire story is your responsibility?
None of it. None of it. They should see me coming. I don't care if I was speeding.
And anybody-
They should have eyes and be like, maybe I shouldn't cut this guy off.
And anybody with any sort of, decent self-awareness would say, well, I was speeding.
Which I admitted.
Right, yeah. You just don't want to admit that that's a problem.
They turned right. They turned right 100 feet. They
Had
should have
you
just
not been
stayed in the
speeding,
right
You could have
lane.
slowed down much easier, hence why the speed limit is what the speed limit is on that road.
But I knew it. As soon as I saw the license plate, I knew he's going to get in the middle lane. He's going to get in the middle lane. He's going to cut me off.
Maybe
And
if
sure as
you-
shit, he
maybe
did.
if you just had positive thoughts, the outcome would have been different.
No, they've trained me. Because if you follow a Pennsylvania driver for more than 5 minutes, you'll see them do something fucking stupid. Oh, also, while we're at it, why do you need 20 car lengths between you and the car in front of you? Why?
Safety?
There's a difference between safety and insanity. And they love to drive in the left lane and make sure they have 20 car
You're
lengths.
generalizing a lot. Pennsylvania, has a lot of people in it. Only a
Well, they
only
must
a
have.
Sith, only a Sith speaks in absolutes.
Well, that's perfectly fine because I do speak in absolutes. And there's something in their water or something. I don't know what it is, but
Well, it doesn't come from New Jersey. It's probably a lot cleaner.
yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they need some more dirtier water in there.
Jersey drivers are just as fucking bad.
Yeah,
like
we're pretty terrible.
It's bad on both sides. It really is. Like there's something about driving. For me, it's a difference between driving between a country road, like in a country area, and a city. Like
Yeah.
you have to go in. Like when you're driving in the city, it's I'm on a battlefield now.
Right, you got to watch your six.
Yeah, you're like everything is okay. Here's this program movement that has to happen now, and with the anticipations and everything else. Like highway shit, people are just fucking dumb. Everybody's dumb. Everybody's on their fucking phone, right? It's nobody's paying attention to what they're fucking doing. Like, and I think in Jersey, it's if anything, what gets people fucked up more than most is the like jug handles. They don't understand it. They can't make a left turn.
Right.
They have to fucking I can't make a left turn. I have to get back into the fucking right lane.
Right. And then they don't look and they just go,
that's why you know it's going to happen, because like, okay, this person, they don't realize that they can't make a left. So they're going to have to go back, like especially on 70, right?
Yeah.
70 or 73. Like, oh no, they're not going to be able to make a left. So they're going to end up back over on the right to cut somebody off. And you have to do like I do. Everyone's fucking stupid. Just everyone's stupid universally. And you're just on the defensive for everybody.
oh, I am.
If
Yeah.
you lower the bar overall in your life, you'll never be disappointed.
Or you'll be constantly disappointed and fucking aggravated and need more therapy.
Right.
Which is, me.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my week. So what do you got, Dave?
What do I have? Oh, dude. So I wasn't here last week because I was in DC for a leadership course, which it was actually pretty good. I can't rag on it too bad. It was good training. I may actually have some new listeners to the pod out of it. Yeah, it was one of my introduction bits. Had to tell a fun fact about somebody, and or the person. It's one of those icebreaker things where like, hey, this person's going to interview you and then tell.
Yeah, and then tell
about you.
everybody a fun fact.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so they told a fun fact about me, and one of the things they told was about the podcast. And I had one of our new business cards with me, so I had put that on the table. So if you're from OLC 87, hello.
Very nice.
So it was a good week. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, but it was the fucking strangest thing. So DC in August is supposed to be just the worst.
DC was built on a swamp.
Yeah, it's supposed to be malaria season.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be fucking 92, 93 degrees with 100% humidity, like instant swamp ass, just awful. Dude, it was 83 degrees.
Nice.
With like 60% humidity the entire week. It was unseasonably nice. So all these people that were in from out of town were like, wow, the weather's really nice. I'm like, no. This is not DC weather. This is not normal August in DC. Don't get used to this. Because I'll bet you right now it's not like this. Bet you right now it's back to fucking, hey, you better fucking get a man pond in because you get some ass sweat going.
Yeah, and of course we're all under like tornado watches right now in the Northeast.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
So
We had an unseasonably nice week in DC and ended up going to a Nats game, the Nationals, for those of you not baseball oriented. What a shithole. Like
their stadium?
there was. So I've been to their stadium before, vaguely remember, but what is it?
86 and thunderstorming.
That's not too bad. It's probably humid as fuck.
Let's check the humidity index. Keep going.
Yeah, I went into the stadium. It's in a reasonable area, with restaurants and stuff like that. So that part's cool, but like the stadium itself was it just seemed like it was built in the 80s, even though it's a newer stadium than the one in Philly. What is it?
67% humidity. It's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
They got it better down there than we have it here.
Yeah, it feels like 90 here.
Yeah, easily. So yeah, and at night, by the time game time was at like 7 at night, it was like 79 degrees. It was nice. It was just nice. So we're in their stadium, right? And the Phillies used to like basically pack out the National Stadium when the Phillies would play there because nobody gives a shit about the Nationals. And we're sitting in a section, and of course we're sitting in a section. They were playing the Brewers, and it was mostly Brewers fans, and that made it way more fun because the Brewers ended up winning, and we had a good time.
People traveled from Milwaukee to DC.
I think they're just locals.
Yeah, they're just locals that
Yeah.
are from Milwaukee. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I was at the Phillies game yesterday, and there was like maybe five or six Royals fans that I saw. So they're transplants from whatever, but it was a good time. But their level of fandom is just so much different than what I'm used to in Philadelphia.
There's nothing like Philadelphia fans.
Yeah, it's
For
really
better or worse.
Yeah, for better or worse. Oh, which I bring that up to say this: the fucking at the same time in the Phillies game yesterday, the Eagles had a on-field like at the link practice, and there's video out there for, crossing Broad, and there's a fucking Cowboys fan in one section of the Eagles stadium. So this is a practice that the Eagles are having. They're having an open practice, and this motherfucker shows up to an open practice for the Eagles and starts waving a goddamn Cowboys flag around.
I tip my hat to him. You, sir, wherever you are a professional troll.
Yeah.
I tip my hat to
it's
you,
an
sir.
expert level troll, or it's some sort of assisted suicide,
Right.
Like because
Could be both.
it was some point in the afternoon, so tailgate was open. I mean, not too long. It wasn't like it was at night where you would have been drinking all day, but just why? Why would you?
I mean,
why would you?
The balls on that guy to do that.
Tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah.
If this was the old days, and you did some shit like that, that's why we had a fucking jail in the vet.
Look,
I mean, honestly, that's some shit.
love him or hate him, game recognizes game.
Yeah.
Dude, fuck that guy. That's just,
Gotta respect.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I hate the Cowboys as much as anybody, but I do find that actually
stand up
pretty
in the
hilarious.
middle of a section in a fucking open Eagles practice.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the fucking. I'm just gonna wave my fucking Cowboys flag around. Like a big Cowboys flag.
I mean,
Not
they
like
let
a
him
little-
in. I mean, security saw him and they're like, "Oh yeah, this guy's fine."
Yeah, but
and they let him in.
It's not like he was wearing a Cowboys jersey or anything. Like he just like got up and had this giant flag and started waving the fucking, the Dallas flag around. He was an expert level troll. It was fucking
Fair enough. Is it?
I got Legos.
Oh,
So if you're on our Discord channel, you would have saw some of these already. I think I alluded to.
Mecha Boba Fett.
Yeah, I might have mentioned it a couple weeks ago.
hilarious.
But August 1st, Lego had a bunch of releases for new stuff.
oh yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah.
How they were talking about all kinds of new stuff.
Oh, and there we got this guy.
Mecha Stormtrooper.
Oh, now this one's awesome. Stormtrooper.
Stormtrooper. And then this is the 332nd guys.
Okay. The Ahsoka clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see.
Wait, that's the 332nd. So that wasn't the 501st?
No.
Okay, that was a totally different unit then.
Yep, totally different unit. So there's this like controversy about the it was all over Reddit. Like, and I heard about it and I really didn't understand it, so I did some research on it just because the show, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck are people complaining about? Because I think these are pretty good looking, right? On Reddit, they're complaining that the trooper helmets, like for Captain Vaughn here, his helmet in the show, it wasn't all orange like this. It was actually like it was more white, and then had the coloring of the Ahsoka mask on there. So they're complaining about that, and they're complaining about the holes in the helmets and shit like that. Look,
People are going to nitpick no matter what. Yeah, no, I think it was.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Legos. This was part of the setup too. Careful, the guns are loaded.
Nice.
That came with the 332nd guys,
Okay.
and this is the last one. This is the mini N1.
Does this ship doesn't have a name yet, does it?
I think it's just the
The
N1.
the Naboo starfighter that Mando has.
Yeah, the
I love the tiny
mini version of
Grogu.
that.
Well, does he come out?
Yeah, he comes out.
Oh my god!
So here's my
Look at how
thing.
small he is.
So smear.
So small.
So small.
You can't really see him on camera. Oh my god, it's adorable.
So here's my thing with Legos. It's not meant to be fucking. It's not a model. Okay. It's
Right.
there's all these people like, well, Lego's claiming they're supposed to be so realistic and stuff like that.
No, they're not.
There's realism and then there's modeling.
yeah.
Legos are not models.
No.
They're just not. They're almost impossible to scale. And if you are trying to get them to some sort of scale, it's nearly impossible because they're almost all the bricks are fucking square. They're bricks.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't get enough circles to really make it work. Like the TIE Fighter build that I did, that mod one that I had bought and designed out, kind of based on the UCS one, has a lot more. It's a lot more rounded and closer to a regular one, but it's still Lego. Like I want to look at it and see, like, oh, that's Lego. I'm not trying to build a model. If I wanted a model, I'd fucking get a model. The fact that I could break this down and turn it into something else, like, so there's a Vader mech suit
Ooh.
that I'm probably going to turn into a TIE pilot mech suit, honestly.
Nice.
Just because Vader doesn't need a mech suit. Why would Vader need a mech suit?
Well,
He's
he
already
is-
in one.
Yeah, he is in a mech suit.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Yeah, he why the fuck would he need the mech suit? So I'm gonna convert that. And they did some really clever stuff with this design.
Oh, yeah.
and how they build it.
Yeah. I'd never seen this before, honestly.
So I have some ideas on what I'm gonna build for a custom.
They look like Iron Man and the Hulkbuster armor. It's kind of what that reminds me of.
But they're, I love buying the builds because these engineers do such clever stuff to put the stuff together. Things that I would never have thought of, and that I would apply to building my own stuff. And so for some of the builds that I'm doing, it's cool that like, oh, here's a unique part that, hey, I can potentially apply this piece because I think it would fit better on something that I've already built.
Yeah.
And then I can break that piece down and then I'll incorporate it into my build. That's the beauty of Lego. It's not meant to be a model. It's not meant to be uber realistic. It's meant to, I can build this. It looks kind of like what I'm trying to make, or close enough to it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. And then I can break it down. I can make something else with it.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point. That these asshats that are just pissing and moaning about it's not realistic enough. Fuck you. There's nowhere
Legos.
There's nowhere in canon that there's a fucking stormtrooper in a mech suit.
Though there should be.
Well, I mean, in theory, is there now? Because this exists.
Yeah. Maybe that'll be in the next Jedi Survivor game.
Or just the Lego Star Wars.
Mech stormtroopers.
I mean, I could totally see Fett in a fucking mech suit, right? You could totally.
Yeah, I mean,
I could totally
makes-
see him
makes
doing something like that.
Makes sense.
Like the actual Boba Fett, not the fucking clown who showed up for that other show. That pussy who fucking like decided, he's like, oh, I'm going to be a good person now.
Oh.
Because of Tusken Raiders. Anyway, I'm still
enough.
a little bitter.
Yeah.
I see that.
But yeah, that's my Lego haul for the past couple weeks.
Nice. So where are these going to get displayed?
These are all going back home.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have some new display areas at home.
Yeah.
So these are actually gonna be at home.
All right. Very good.
Yeah, I have some ideas for how I'm going to display more troopers, and these I may get more of these so I can have like a. Do you know how Ahsoka, when she comes in and they're all like
Lined
formed up?
Yeah. Ooh, get that whole scene.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's gonna happen.
A 10 on each side kind of thing.
That's gonna be expensive, but yeah, I think that's gonna happen.
Well, then you'll have to get an Ahsoka and a Rex too.
And an Anakin.
And
'Cause
an
he
Anakin.
presents her with her lightsabers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yep. All the things.
Well, you know what Palpatine thinks about this.
Do it. Yeah. So yeah,
All right.
that's it. That's all I have.
All right. Bob, you got anything to add before we get into our main topic?
No, not really. I mean, I had kind of a standard week at a wedding over the weekend, so hung out in Philly. No, nothing exciting, nothing Star Wars exciting to
All right.
add.
Fair enough. Though I did watch you play some Jedi Survivor yesterday, so
You did
briefly. Yeah, so we'll get into that. Anything else before we move on?
No.
No.
All right. Well, let's talk about some Jedi Survivor. So we discerned that it came out back in April, right? So it's been
April.
out for 3 months now. Wait, April, May, June, July.
End of
August,
April. So May, June, July.
Okay, so yeah, hair over 3 months. And of course, I know Dave. Well, I think both of you actually played it and beat it pretty quickly after it came out.
I think it was like the first weekend.
Yeah, I think I was 2 or 3 weeks in.
Yeah. So me, I just only recently played through it. I started playing it about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, and just finally finished it this last Saturday, the story version of it. So, and talking about how we played it, like I played it on an Xbox Series S, not a Series X. And I played it on a 1080p TV because the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, these graphics are really good, but I bet this is not optimized. This is not the best way to play this. And then after catching a glimpse at it on your TV on the PS5, I'm like, oh yeah, this looks far better than on the Series S. So
Nice.
yeah, and I played through it on the Jedi Padawan difficulty, which is the second from the bottom, and it was still difficult. Like, I don't know how the hell some of you played on Jedi Grandmaster, but like there were points on talking about the difficulty where I had to replay some parts multiple times on that Jedi Padawan difficulty. And yeah, all I did was the single playthrough, and I didn't do any side quests, didn't do anything. I was strictly focused on getting through the main game. And since then, I found out all kinds of stuff I could have unlocked that probably would have made my life a lot easier. But, it is what it is.
Hey, it was about getting it done for the show.
Yeah. So now, what about you, Dave? Like, how all did you play this?
So I played it on the Xbox X, the actual Series X, but I also played it on a 1080p TV because that's all I have in the house. I'm sure on a 4K TV it probably would have tightened it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it still fucking looked good. I don't like it didn't lose anything to me.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. It still looked fantastic on my Series S, but I'm just sitting here looking at it. I'm like, I bet this looks a lot better on an upgraded console and a sharper TV.
Yeah. Well, so for the Xbox X, I played it on a Jedi Knight, and then when I got into spots where I was like, fuck, and I kept running into a wall because I'm impatient, I stepped it down to like Padawan so I could I just want to get through this so I can finish the story, and went through it. On the Xbox, I'm like 97.1% complete with the entire game.
Right. Because each planet has like a percentage, right? Of everything that you've unlocked on it, from like hidden stuff to like everything, right?
Yep.
Does that include like even scanning the enemies? Like when you kill an enemy, you scan it. It's got to be all of that.
Yeah,
all of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and you even get to a point where you unlock a part for BD1 where you can actually see on the map where the unscanned items are.
Oh, well, that's handy.
So it helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just about. I'm gonna fucking finish it on the Xbox X. But while I was gone last week, because I had a couple of nights where I wasn't, I didn't have any homework to do with the course I was in, and we hadn't gone out. I downloaded it onto this laptop, and this same laptop's the one I do my Microsoft Flight Simulator on and everything else. So it's kind of maxed out for everything that can be done. It's got a really nice graphics card in it, and it was awesome. It fucking played great. I used a Xbox controller with it, and I actually plugged it directly in. I found it was much better, like USB-C. Just fucking plugged it directly in, and it was fucking tight. And just sat there like this at the fucking desk. But I had to start over, obviously.
Yeah.
So I started on Jedi Knight difficulty, and I got to. I'm on Kobo somewhere.
Which time?
I think it's the first go around.
Okay.
It's the first go around because I'm still manipulating fucking orbs to I haven't unlocked BD's capability to fucking be able to squirt the
the Kobo matter.
Right. So I'm still fucking having to maneuver shit around, and that's what sucks about playing it again, like starting over fresh. Is like, fuck, I already had, like, you forget that you don't have something. Or when I'm jumping, I realize I don't have the extra whoosh.
Oh, the dash.
Yeah, the dash in the air, and I'm like, whee! It's like falling down. Like, God damn it. So, yeah, it took me a minute when I was first playing it. But, yeah, I'm really happy with my with the performance of the machine here.
And that's good, and that's why I asked, because when this game first came out, I saw a lot of people complaining that like it was PCs were having a tough time with it.
Yeah. Now I will say that after playing it, I might have been playing it for maybe 3 hours, and just from a temperature perspective,
yeah.
it started to I noticed it started okay, it's getting warm, and I noticed the machine was starting to get bogged down. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna shut it down.
Yeah,
and let it cool
off a bit.
Just because I'm at one point I had it on the bed, which is like the worst thing ever. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't on the desk and it wasn't cooling properly. But yeah, it did great, and it was fun. It was fun to do even on the small screen, but I was so close to it, and using the Xbox controller made all the difference. There's no way I could do this with a fucking mouse and keyboard. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, no, you've got to be too quick and too reactive with different buttons, and yeah, I just don't see how. So, is that it for your playthrough?
Oh, the other thing was I went to did the EA whatever. What's the EA Play or whatever it is?
Oh, is that where kind of like the Xbox thing where you get free games? And
yeah,
all
it's
that?
like the $15 a month, and it does whatever.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, rather than spending another $70 to have it on this, I'm like, I'll spend $15.
Oh,
and
okay,
then I'll
gotcha.
cancel it when I'm done with it. Mm-hmm. So I did that.
Yeah.
And it fucking worked out.
Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like that, but for EA.
Okay.
But that reminds me, future Dave. Cancel that.
Yeah.
Cancel that thing, and then buy Titanfall 2. Because they had Titanfall 2 for really cheap.
Yeah.
For the EA version of it.
Okay.
So that I could have it on a PC. Because I really enjoyed that game. I really enjoyed Titanfall 2.
Never played it.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
You did, if you enjoyed this, you'd enjoy that.
Okay.
Honestly, it's the same developer. It's the same game mechanics.
All right. So Bob, what about you and your playthroughs?
So I played through it on Jedi Knight, beat it on Jedi Knight, beat it, got 100%, got everything, explored everything,
Wow.
every side quest, every conversation in the cantina, all the stuff. And I sort of played through it organically. So I would do the main storyline, then I get sidetracked. I just sort of wanted to let it unfold and just take my time.
Yeah.
Then I went. So after you beat it, then you get New Game Plus, and you basically get all your abilities, and you can go play it again. And anything you didn't find in the original game that you base your New Game Plus off of, you can go find and complete. So I based it off of the Jedi Knight game, which meant I'd found everything. What I did actually was, before I played New Game Plus, I went back and I played Jedi Fallen Order. And I did it. So I beat Jedi Fallen Order 100%, and I beat that on Grandmaster.
Jeez.
Jedi Fallen Order on Grandmaster.
Damn.
Because I was like, once I beat it on Jedi Knight, I thought, Survivor, I thought, I wonder what it's like on Grandmaster. So I went and I read some stuff, and they said, if you're going to play this on Grandmaster, go play Fallen Order on Grandmaster. Break your teeth on that. So that's what I did. So by the time I got back to New Game Plus, I was like, all right, let me go play that on Grandmaster. And I beat New Game Plus on Grandmaster. Then I went back and I played through. So when you beat the game, you get 3 perks that can slot in and not take up any perk slots in your perk tree. One of them changes your clothes and your lightsaber color every time you respawn. So you get a new outfit.
Oh,
new
just
lightsaber.
randomly?
It's just random.
Oh,
It's
that's cool.
though.
I
But
like that.
honestly, I'm using it now in the game I'm playing. I had never used it before, and all of the outfits kind of match. None of them are crazy. They just kind of oh, that's cool.
Yes.
So there's some taste there. The second perk is called Purity, and that means that your lightsaber damage is mass. It's like playing with a real lightsaber, because in Fallen Order, you hit a guy 3 times with a lightsaber, you're still alive. You're like, dude, he'd be dead. So in this game, lightsabers do real damage, but all the damage you take is real too. So, and then the third one is you get they replaced the enemies with harder enemies, new and harder enemies. Not new as in you've never seen them before in the game, but just if you were gonna have what's that BDX droid or whatever?
Yeah.
If you're gonna have a BDX droid, it's the big chunky droid with like the windmills, its staff and stuff like that instead.
Okay.
There's a lot more death or purge troopers all over the place, which are a little rare in the regular playthrough. So when I went back and played New Game Plus, I played it with Purity on and with the harder enemies on.
Jesus.
And I played it on Grandmaster. Or no, I beat it on Grandmaster. Then I went back and played New Game Plus with Purity, and so this is my third playthrough. And the harder enemies. That's on Grandmaster. That's nuts. Like basically, if you get hit twice with a stray blaster shot, game over, done. It became less about how many stims do I have left and like don't get hit, just don't get hit.
Right.
And now I'm playing it normal game, no New Game Plus, Grandmaster. I'm just playing through it again to play with, and I'm playing with like the random close stuff. So that's
Right.
fun. So here's what I'll tell you about those playthroughs. Jedi Knight, I thought, and I think we talked about this when I was on the podcast. I was like, it's a little more challenging than
Right.
Jedi Fallen Order Survivor. The Grandmaster playthrough I did. So this is regular game Grandmaster. You learn your skills because if you don't, it's a very short game for you. So, and the bosses tend to teach you certain skills. So, like when you fight Ravis, if you don't know how to parry correctly, by the time you beat him, you know how to parry.
Right.
And you know what it means to learn attack patterns because it's the only way you win the game. You learn dodge because if you don't, it's a short fight. You really start to learn the attack patterns. You really start to learn. I remember playing through with Jedi Knight. I may have parried twice. Anytime I parried was like incidental. I was like, oh, wow. Well, it was always just dodge, run out of the way.
That's usually
run out of the way. So you learn that. You also learn, and we'll get into this more, I know, looking at the notes, you learn to use each stance for the appropriate thing that you need. If they become less about this is cool and more of this is a tool. This is a tool for this purpose.
This for this.
You still get your default stances that you sort of gravitate towards, but each one has their purpose.
Did you find yourself like, I know I got to a point where I was going back and playing things where I'm like, I'm only going to do it in this stance.
Yeah, I mean, now that I've got, I'm not bragging, but now that my skills are what they are with the game, I can.
He's bragging.
Just a little bit. But now that I like have attack patterns memorized, I understand dodge and parry in the appropriate time. I do the game with basically two stances, and that just two. I only need two stances, and that's kind of it. The force tears on Grandmaster are freaking nuts.
Dude, I was struggling with like the Rancor force tears on fucking Jedi Knight. Kicking me square in the fucking nuts.
So I didn't move Grandmaster on
time.
anything. Every force tear I did was on Grandmaster.
Jeez.
And again, you learn kiting with the Rancors. You learn kiting a lot, but you also learn their hitboxes and the size, and you get used to that. The hardest force tear I did on Grandmaster is the one where you actually have you have three of the sort of hard bosses in one sort of arena. It's like Agato, and it's like the frog guy, the Yeti guy, and like the other, and the Garako. And you have the and you have like the dinosaur, the little Triceratops guy. Like, or you have those three, and you have to fight all that one. That one was really tough. So anyway, those were my playthroughs.
You didn't do any force tears, did you?
I did like two of them. Well, I only found two of them, and that's the thing. Also, in my playthroughs, I didn't go looking for all the hidden stuff. But I also didn't realize, like, I'm over at Bob's yesterday, and I'm watching him play it, and I'm like, wait a minute, does that say you have 12 stims?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the? Because I've been playing with two the whole time, the whole way through the game. I played with two stims.
On hard mode.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell? And then he's like, yeah, you just got to unlock them. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you got to unlock them. And honestly, you can't I don't think that even if you knew where they were, that you could unlock all of them. You could get to all of them
Yeah.
without
Like
certain jump abilities.
yeah,
and stuff
no,
like that.
there's certain abilities you need to get to certain ones. What I've been doing on this playthrough is the only thing I stop for are stims and force essences. That's it.
Because that's going to increase your perks.
Right.
And,
Until I get to my full force powers and I've unlocked all my trees, then I'll go back and do stuff.
I think it took me a little bit to realize how important the perks were.
Yep.
Like it was just something I was collecting, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever, a perk. And then I was like, wait, I should be customizing this.
Yeah.
And then so once I did that, and it made my game experience so much easier because I was actually utilizing the perk like it was supposed to be utilized.
I mean, the other thing I would say is playing the playthrough on Purity on Grandmaster. So that one teaches you boss fights are actually not that big of a deal because you basically one or two shot every boss because you do so much damage. So boss fights are like nothing. Normal run of the mill guys can just kill you. So you learn to like creep up on a situation, look at what you've got there. It's like, okay, here's the strategy. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna jump down, or I'm gonna mind control those two guys. I'm gonna mind control the guys with the flamethrower guys. I'm gonna then jump.
Yeah, fuck
those guys.
And you got to be careful because they'll still hurt you. So I'm gonna jump all the way over there. I'm gonna grab and force pull that scout trooper's shield, but I'm gonna use it to take out the purge trooper with the rifle because he can one-shot me. So I'm gonna hit him and then jump on him as soon as possible to beat the crap out of him. Those guys should be done killing people over there. I'm gonna force pull one of those flamethrower guys, turn him and use him on the other one, then kill him, and then I'll have a scout trooper left, and I'll just kill him. And then you do that. You execute it perfectly, and then as you're doing it, like you turn to the scout trooper and he just bonks you on the head, and you're like, "All right, we're doing that all over again." So you and what's interesting now is having done that, and now I'm just back on a Grandmaster playthrough. It's like watching it all come together, and you feel like a god. You're just like, you feel like
You're
a
in
Jedi.
the Matrix.
You feel like a Jedi. You're like, all right, I get down here. You do less damage to me now, so I've got, there's some room for errors. Like, all right, I get down here, I force pull this, I stab you, I throw you, I push you off the. Okay, now I have parry, 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 dodge, turn around, kill you, parry, 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 kill you. Like,
Wow.
all right, we're doing this.
Yeah. I love when you're up, you have the high ground and you're looking down and it's like, okay, you can see how this is going to go.
Yeah.
And when the troopers aren't looking, and you know that when you jump down, you're going to be able to you jump down, you hit X, and that's the guy you're going to take out first because you're going to
you
basically
do the
jump
jump
on
attack
top of
on
him.
him.
And then it's like, okay, this is how I'm going to start, and that's going to startle everybody else, and then you have time. And that's one of the things I think is fun about this game is that there's this like realistic mechanic on surprise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When an enemy is surprised, they don't react instantly.
Yeah.
Right? There's like a delay in how they react. And I think that makes it gives it this element of realism. Like, some people are just going to be fucking surprised you're all of a sudden there. Mm-hmm. Right?
Or if you're not being careful, like I've had a situation where there's a bunch of guys on the, below you, just like you've described, and you could plan it out, but I'm like running around on the ledge upstairs and they all see me because, I'm not being stealthy at all. They're like, hey, who's that fucking guy? And they start shooting at me and I lose my element of surprise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's great like that. And, you mentioned like these fractures and these situations where you get into like a whole bunch of enemies in one spot. And God, that makes it very, very difficult. Like the first fracture that I went into was like 7 enemies right there. It was like 2 of the basic battle droids, 2 of the advanced ones, fucking 2 stormtroopers and like somebody else or 2 of those.
And there's a death trooper in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta you pull the battle droids. You mind control the 2 stormtroopers. You run around the edge. You wait till they hit you with the big battle droids fire rockets. That's what you use to take everything else out. You just keep sending the rockets back and blowing everything up.
Yeah.
And reflecting.
And honestly,
laser
that's
shots.
a mechanic that if you played a lot of Fallen Order, you'd have more muscle memory for.
Sure, yeah.
Because
I mean, I love rockets now. It's like suck.
Yep.
I'll send it over here.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
it's like, oh, thank you very much for that. Who needs to die?
And then you have to be cognizant too of like there's some enemies that you have to like, all right, there's a rock. I can move this rock. Why? Oh, because I can throw it
Right.
at this fucking this animal. Right? And that's going to give it more hit points basically than it would if I fucking attacked it straight on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the game mechanics that we're talking about right now for the past 10 minutes. He's played through it fucking 3-4 times. Like I'm on my second playthrough trying to get to 100%. You know, I'm started playing again on the PC, and I've played through Fallen Order a couple of times. So I think what it speaks to, without even getting to the story,
Sure.
which I think is a big part of this,
Oh, it is. And we're going to get to that. We'll
Yeah.
have a spoiler alert and all that. Don't worry.
I think it speaks to the quality of the
Yeah.
fucking game. This is we're talking about this game almost with this. For me, this has the same replayability that we got with Battlefront 2015.
Yeah.
I've
know?
never had a game on any system that I can think of in recent memory that I've played through 3 times. I mean,
I've never, aside from like maybe Grand Theft Auto, where I played a lot of it because it's such an open world, like where I played so much different stuff, and I've just solely put hours into. Like this game, for what it is, right? You know, Call of Duty's. You know, I've played a lot of Call of Duty and put hours into that, but there's constantly upgrades and DLCs and stuff like that. This is the game.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going back and what did I miss here? And I'll go back into certain areas because I know there's fucking stormtroopers there. And I'm going to I just want to kick the shit out of a fucking bunch of stormtroopers.
Oh, and there's so many fun situations too, where like if there's one standing on a ledge, you can just walk up behind him, just force push him just right off the edge, and just
Again, we're speaking about the game mechanics, but there's just the random shit that they're saying sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
If you just listen to them talk, it's hilarious.
I love it. I'll do the recordings and some of the stuff I send the Lunar Girl to post on our social media. But you know, I'll be hitting a button to just record like a battle droid talking, or you know, just because it's fucking hilarious. Just the random shit, and it's not like random to the point where it's inappropriate. It's all
it's just-
like you're in the middle of a firefight and the battle droid's going like, "What is happening?" It's like,
which, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up because that was one of my favorite aspects of this game is the fact that they brought back a lot of those Clone Wars.
Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah, you know, because now it's like these mercenaries. This mercenary group has reprogrammed and repurposed all these, you know, Trade Federation battle droids and
Right.
ships and all that, and it's great because you get to like slice through all that like it was the Clone Wars again.
Yeah.
oh man, now I need to get so that purity mode you're talking about, is that, so I know that there was mods out there that had basically made the lightsaber actually like physically accurate.
Yeah.
So like the physics were accurate where if you hit something with it, it would actually cut like it like
yeah,
it
I don't
would.
know about that. Purity just makes it do a hell of a lot more damage, and you take a hell of a lot more damage. So
Okay.
in that mode, dodging and parrying become paramount. Just you typically work up your mind control tree as quickly as possible because that just makes early fights easy, just peels guys off, and then it really forces you to just plant. Like combat stops becoming random. It's like, all right, I'm here. I got this, and this. Like ranged, you literally key in on ranged folks, and they die first. It's like, how can I keep all the melee stuff busy, and then I'm gonna go take the range guy out. And anytime there's a one of the stormtroopers with the rapid fire, you know, laser.
Oh, like
Yeah.
the Gatling gun,
Yeah.
basically.
You're like, okay, how do I position him in between everybody else so that when I reflect all these, they just kill everything? Like,
Yeah, I had
Yeah.
to do that on Padawan level a couple of times, where you know you were in an area where there were two of those guys up top and a shitload of guys
Yep.
in the bottom, and you got to like deflect them as you're.
and you just
Yeah.
kill everybody else first, and then them. Yeah.
What's great is when you get to the point where you're like when you're able to just force grab them and just hold them
And then use their
and just
gun.
use their gun on.
Yeah, like
I mean, what else that does is I never remember looking at my block meter. I don't care what my block.
No.
You start to look at it a lot. It becomes more important than your life meter.
Yeah. Now I know with the Jedi Grandmaster, it's probably the different stances are required for certain fights and whatnot. But on the Jedi Padawan, I noticed like I just gravitated towards a couple of specific stances. I don't know if you felt the same way when you played, but I loved the dual wielding, the dual sabers. That was my favorite by far way to fight. But I also liked the broad saber or whatever it's called.
The crossguard stance.
Yeah, the crossguard. Like I would play that a couple of times, but primarily I stuck with the dual wielding the whole time.
See, I didn't. When I'm messing around, I'm more of a just traditional, just
Single blade.
single blade.
Ah, okay.
And then I'll have the. For a while I was playing with just having the broadsword like as my secondary, and then I realized that when I was getting to a point where it was like, you know what, this would be a lot smarter if I could actually have some range, and I put the blaster option in there as well.
Okay.
So on Jedi Knight, the most powerful version you can do if you perk it out right is blaster.
Really?
Yeah. It's like God mode.
Yeah,
But
because you
not boss fight, not so much boss fights, but just intermittent stuff. Because the quick or whatever it is, the quick draw thing or whatever. I mean, that'll wipe out 3 or 4 enemies in a shot.
Oh, it's
So
just
if
like
you-
an old west kind of just boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Well, yeah, everything slow mo's. It keys up on whatever, and then. I mean, and you sort of take a fencing stance with the lightsaber, which I think is really cool. Like it's the Dooku sort of form fighting.
Yeah.
So through Jedi Knight, I used blaster stance, and then I would use various stances for bosses depending. I think I beat it on crossguard stance. I beat the final boss with crossguard. Going back through Grandmaster is very different. So I actually read a bunch of articles before I did Grandmaster. And I read this one article that was about the way the game mechanics actually work, the animations. So when you press a button, at least for PS4, but I assume it's the same for Xbox, the character does the animation and in its full. And it follows up with the next button you press and the next. Which means if you mash buttons, it will get through everything. It will not stop in the middle to go to the next button you hit.
right.
Which can be a problem because if you're not really judicious about how many attacks you're making, you'll never be able to block. You'll never be able to react in time. So the first thing you have to do on Grandmaster with any stance is like, okay, I can't mash buttons anymore. I have to get really sparing on how many attacks I take. I hated the dual saber stance. I was like, it's weak. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It's annoying. Like,
Yeah.
my favorite stance ever now. And the reason is because that is the only stance that will cut the animation off. You can block in the middle of a swing with that stance. And so you get it allows you that room for error. So you can parry, you can just all out attack and then parry. So my second playthrough was dual wield and then actually crossguard for a long time. Because you get the skill that allows you to reflect bolts back that are like powered bolts, and they'll one-shot stuff. You just reflect it and kill a purge trooper or whatever. The problem with that is in Grandmaster, the like Gatling gun stormtroopers are really hard to deal with. They will kill you very quickly. So now I just go through with dual saber is sort of my main, and then I have the the Darth Maul.
The double-bladed.
Double-bladed saber is my off one, and I just, if you get mobbed or whatever, it's a good one to have. But then occasionally, switch back, like certain of those sort of side bosses, like the Mogus and that kind of stuff. Like the single blade, traditional saber actually is very useful against them because it's one button tap, one hit. One button, so you can make sure that you're not overextending yourself.
Yeah.
So, but mine's dual blade and dual wield. Like that's the go-to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think too, if I started to move up in difficulty, I'd have to pay a lot more attention because right now I'm in a comfort zone where I know my button stroke for Jedi Knight with a single blade. I know, like, okay, here's my sequence, here's my timing, and everything else. If I push the button now, this is what's going to be happening while I'm doing it.
What really drove it home for me was when I would do boss fights on Grandmaster, I would go Google Grandmaster. I would YouTube Grandmaster. Some people have done no damage runs, so they do the entire game. They don't take one lick of
Jesus.
damage.
Insanity.
I mean, and the runs are like 7 hours. I watched pieces of one.
Uh-huh.
It's super interesting to watch. So I would Google the boss fights. I'd YouTube the boss fights. No damage run, Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Every single one was dual wield. And then I realized why. Like, oh, because you can, you're able to, it allows you room for error in the way the animation works.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I
makes
noticed,
sense.
particularly with boss fights, was even if I was dual wielding, and I did notice that pretty early on that I could like still block like while I'm just like jamming X and just trying to do a bunch of damage. That when they do the red thing that you have to dodge,
Yeah.
where they glow red and then they do something that's like unblockable. Like I still feel like I didn't have enough time to react in a lot of those instances.
Well, that's when you have to memorize their like setup.
You memorize
Yeah.
their attack patterns, and you still can't overextend yourself because the problem with dual wielding is you can't dodge in the middle of an animation, right?
Right, and I was
So
noticing that.
you really have to like understand when I press this button, I do 2 movements, and then I do another 2 movements, and then a third move. So with a lot of boss fights, trying to beat them on Grandmaster came down to actually, okay, I get 2 hits here. Here's an opening. That's it. And there's the addiction of like, all right, maybe I can squeeze it there. And every time in Grandmaster, when I'm like, maybe I can squeeze it there, and I died. Okay.
Yeah.
I paid.
Oh, that's
Like,
funny.
So you
Get one more. No, you
You
can't.
just get very, very disciplined, and you have to switch your mindset to, I want this to go fast so I can get through this because this is really tough. To, I'm going to be here for a while. It's just going to settle in. I'm going to learn the attack patterns. I'm going to settle in, and this is going to take as long as it's going to take.
Yeah, well, and that goes to show too, like the difficulty of this game. Like even on some of the lower settings, like the Jedi Padawan, like I would have a couple of boss fights, like Ravis. I must have fought him 20 times.
Yeah.
On freaking Padawan before I finally.
Hardest Grandmaster fight I had out of all the bosses by far.
That fucker
part
was
of it.
such a pain in the ass.
And you know what? It should be though.
Right, right.
It should. That's a fight that you should not be able to blow through.
The only way to beat him on Grandmaster is you have to parry every single attack and dodge every single attack. You basically sit there with dual wield, because if you go ranged, he missiles the crap out of you and you die. So you sit there with dual wield, you learn the attack patterns, you parry, dodge, back, hit, and anytime he does jump away from you, you're just dashing right in and getting right. There's a at least for me, I don't know about you guys, there's this penchant to like, get away from the boss when he attacks. Get away. Don't block. Just don't be anywhere near him.
Right.
That attack really taught me like, all right, I'm gonna be in this guy's grill for the duration. Like it taught me to take a hit basically. Like, yeah, me in your grill, and I'm gonna dodge and parry everything. And once I got out of that fight, I was really good at parrying for the rest of the game.
I would imagine. Jesus. Yeah. Do we need to take a break? Is that what's
Yes.
going on?
We
All right.
should, because probably in the next, I don't know, 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we got some thunderstorms rolling in. So if for some reason we just all of a sudden just go black and our feed cuts, you'll know why. It's probably because of the storms. But all right, we're going to take a very quick break and be right back after this very quick word from our sponsors.
Might as well turn the air on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's getting a little hot. All right. Well, while we're doing this, I can put these guys in here. Sabine and Hera. Ezra. So I got my own Sabacc cards because
Oh, nice.
we want to play some Sabacc at the celebration. Also got the Star Wars escape room game. I don't know if you've ever done like an escape room board game, but they're pretty fun.
I have not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Zeb, have you noticed also that the Black Series figures have taken up more real estate since the last time? you were
Yeah,
here?
I guess he's gotten over his pops, huh?
Yeah. He's slowing down on the pops, and I'm hitting the gas in the Black Series. So
Can I just pee outside?
that's perfectly fine.
I'm gonna do that.
Just watch out for Dave. He's probably doing the same thing. All right. What am I missing in the chat here? Oh, I think I just heard some thunder. And the thunder rolls. Oh, and Frederick said that exactly at the same time. I said, "Ooh, I think I just heard some thunder." When Rick immediately in the chat goes, "Heard some thunder."
Is that on high over there?
Yes,
Hello.
it's as high and as cold as it can go.
Hello.
Is it working?
It's on.
All right. So yeah, if our feed cuts, that's why, because Storm probably took out the power. Apparently, it's supposed to be a bad one too.
That's a interesting frontal boundary.
Huh?
It's an interesting frontal boundary.
Oh yeah, it's kind of like an arrow almost, right? Yeah.
Spoiler time.
I want to get through a couple more things before we get into spoilers.
I'm just bogarting that fan for a minute. Sorry. Oh. It's a dynamite taste.
He's writing. I think his autobiography comes out soon.
Billy D.
Billy
Williams?
D's?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he was doing one. Oh, is that the big announcement that he was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, because yeah, I saw something like Billy D. Williams has big announcement coming soon. I just assumed it meant he was going to be involved in the Lando show, which we didn't talk about that, by the way. The Donald Glover now writing the Mando show. Or not Mando, Lando. Did I say Lando?
No, you said Mando.
Yeah, Lando. Lando system. All right.
It's coming.
Oh, is that what that was? Yeah. Oh boy. All right. We good?
Yeah.
All right. Kill this. All right. Whenever you're ready, Dave, give us a countdown.
Stand by.
And we're back. So we might be a little bit distracted throughout the rest of the show as we're following the weather radar and listening to the thunder in the area. So
Thunder, 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 thunder. Cats.
I used to love that
Oh,
show.
God, yeah.
They
Like-
remade it.
Did they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched the remake, but I know they remade it.
Look, if
Yeah.
it was any good, we would have all been watching
Probably.
Yeah, because yeah, no,
That would've
I
been-
It's like the Voltron remake. Like if it was any good, we would have all watched
Yeah.
it.
it.
I mean, I think my cousin Rick, he said it wasn't bad,
No.
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, no, I went through like a 2-year period where Thundercats was like it.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
It was, I think
awesome.
because it was on. I think it was on after GI Joe.
Yeah, it was always on in the afternoons, like as soon as I got home from school.
Yeah.
and I think it was like a 5-day-a-week thing. Like
Yeah, it
I think there
was.
was 5 episodes a week.
Yeah, I want to say it was He-Man, GI Joe, then Thundercats, or in some order like that.
Whatever. We had the best cartoon.
Oh God, yes, yeah. Like nobody can touch us.
No.
It's another reason why Gen X is the best generation.
Fucking A, right?
So anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Jedi Fallen Order.
Thunder,
So
thunder, thunder,
before we get
thunder.
too much farther down the rabbit hole, I did want to talk about a couple of other gameplay elements of this game. One was I was very surprised by how much of the acrobatics is a part of the gameplay.
Yeah.
Just the the wall jumping, and then like you mentioned, you get the dash after the double jump, and just it's a good portion of the game is doing timing jumps and timing wall jumps
Yeah.
and trying to figure stuff like that out so you can get to the next section.
Yeah.
And
This is where I think if you had played more Fallen Order, you would have been more comfortable with the mechanic.
sure.
Because I just it took me a minute because I think I gamed it a little bit by playing Fallen Order before Survivor came out, like exclusively, to get that battle rhythm going.
Sure,
So
yeah.
when Survivor
Yep.
came back on, I was like, okay, boom, and it kind of rolled right into it. And we kind of talked about it. I don't know, did we talk about it offline or online or Titanfall 2? We were talking.
Yeah,
talking
we
about
talked about it.
Yeah, the Titanfall 2 game engine. It's the same stuff. It's that same level of acrobatics. Like you're jumping, wall jumping, and the grabbing and the grappling and all the other stuff. It's fucking
Yeah, because
great.
by the end, you're doing that. You're doing like wall jump into a double jump into a dash, and then hopefully be close enough to hit something with your grappling hook. Like there are a couple of jumps that you have to time pretty right, because I can remember one where I think you're going through the ISB place towards the end where you have to do a jump and you have to do a double jump and a dash through a force field, and like you just barely have enough room to make it.
That fucking which fucking, it's one of those fucking,
Well, all you said is an expletive, so it's hard for me to guess.
it's one of the
You're gonna have to give us something more than fucking.
it's one of the force tears.
Oh yeah, the force tear where you fractured.
where the force fields are coming at you,
Yep.
and whenever you jump,
Yep.
they change
Yeah.
polarity.
Well, yeah,
no, not
there's
that one. That one's easy.
No, it's the one where you have to, like, you're jumping up and you have to, like, it takes you this way and you can see that it's going like this way and then it goes,
There's a couple force. The acrobatics force tears were challenging the first time through. The second gameplay through, where I did force tears, I was like, this is all right, because you sort of know the pattern at that point.
I haven't gotten through that one yet. That one in particular, I haven't gotten out
I
yet.
YouTubed that one and watched it, so I sort of knew where I was going.
That's what I need to do.
Yeah.
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 But between like the acrobatics and the puzzle solving, there's a lot more than just the combat in this game, and it's one of the reasons why I think it's a great, complete game. Like it's a great all around game because, I'm sure there's some people out there who only want combat, but I think the acrobatics and the puzzle solving adds a nice element to break up the different sections of combat.
Right.
I found it very enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, even some of the side boss fights are just a ton of fun. I mean, I used to hate fighting Rancors. I love fighting Rancors now. It's fun. It's fun as hell.
I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Well, you know what it is, and this is the secret with the Rancor. First off, the hitbox is huge. You just know that off the bat. You can parry pretty much every attack they have, though, as long as you as long as it's not a red attack, you can parry it. But here's the one that totally changed that fight for me. When the lunge they do where they just eat you and it one shots you.
Yeah.
Well, lunge back at them. You get under their hitbox and then you just beat the crap out of them while they try to shuffle around and reset. Because they're so big, like they'll shuffle around and reset. You just go to town on them. You lunge into them. It's great.
Turn it down more.
Turn it down.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I can hear it.
Oh. Is that good?
I guess it's not that one. I turned that one off and I can still hear it.
I don't know. I think you're just hearing some weird feedback or something. Maybe it's your tinnitus.
That's
So, one of the other things that they have is like a shitload of hidden items and hidden sections all throughout the game. That's where the 100% completion comes in. And like I haven't messed with any of the appearance stuff, be it the clothing, the lightsabers, but Bob, you were saying that you can build pretty much every
You can build pretty much every classic lightsaber that you can think of. So you can build, let's see, off the top of my head, you can build Luke's from Return of the Jedi. You can build Baby Killer. You can build Darth Maul's. You can build... I don't know that you can do Darth Vader's. I don't think you can do Vader's. You can... I mean, they give you Seer Jundas. They give you Jarl Tapal's.
yeah.
You can
Like,
build...
by name
Yeah,
they
by
do.
name they do. You can build... wait a minute. So you can build the Jedi Guardian lightsaber, like the staff lightsaber for the Jedi Guardians, like the yellow-bladed Guardian one. You
Oh,
can
I
build
haven't
that.
done that.
You can build that. You can build Mace Windu's. If you like Google it, there's a whole YouTube channel that shows you. There's like 10
Just
or 12
all the
of
stuff
them.
you can unlock.
And
Yeah.
it's
Wow.
10 or 12 designs, and they tell you how to build them. Here's the pieces. Here's the color
okay.
scheme. Here's how to
Yeah, because there's so many variations on what you're picking up.
Yeah, I mean, I can hear that in the background.
You can, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Well, now I hear rain, but
Yeah,
Well, that's rain. I can't do anything about that.
it's fine. I think we'll be okay. Anyway, so I think that's everything I had before we start getting into storyline spoilers. So this is the point now where it's spoiler alert. If for some reason you haven't played through the storyline of this yet and you still want to be surprised when you play through it,
Then
whenever.
turn it on to story mode and play through the storyline and
Yes.
get it over with.
Yeah.
Do
Yes,
that. Because
just
story
do it.
mode is super easy. Like,
do it.
which, yeah. Oh, whoops.
Do it.
Well, it's funny because the difficulty between Jedi Padawan and story mode, it's just like night and day. Like story mode, you don't have to do anything; just jam the X button, and you'll eventually get there.
Right.
Nobody does shit damage to you, but then you go up to Jedi Padawan, and you actually have to fucking pay attention, and
Yeah.
you actually have to play the game. So,
No, I appreciate that as somebody like because the storyline is so good, then I appreciate the idea of like, all right, I want to get through the story. I want to get through all of the, the videos and the in game movies and all this shit.
hail,
It might be.
Could be.
Jesus.
Yeah. The apocalypse is happening outside.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're all gonna die together.
Yeah, it'll be fun. We'll be surrounded by our toys and
Yeah.
hopefully our loved ones survive.
Yeah. Here's hoping. Anyway, what were we talking about?
You were giving a spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert, we're getting into the story now. So, in addition to the very good tight gameplay for this, all the different ways you can play it, you've got the storyline going on also throughout this whole thing. And if you're familiar with the characters and familiar with the story from Fallen Order, you kind of know, at least the people involved, and it kind of sets you off on a whole new storyline, which apparently has some ties to one of the High Republic books, which I haven't read any of those. It's well documented that I refuse to delve into the High Republic. But you just happen to be, in one of your early stops, I think it's on Kobo the first time, when you're going to find Grease, you just accidentally stumble on this fucking, this High Republic temple and this High Republic droid, Z, that sort of opens up this whole...
Storyline about Tantalor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and there's tie-ins to the Nihil. They mention them. Yeah, I mean, super. I'm not a giant Old Republic fan in the way that they've done it now, but I feel like it's just enough of the flavor.
Sure.
It's not overbearing. Doesn't define the game. It's like just enough to make it
Yeah.
interesting.
And honestly, if you didn't have any idea that that's what it was doing, you'd never know.
Yeah,
You'd have
yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, you'd have no clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, like until like I said, well, if you didn't know, you'd have no idea. It's like, oh, okay, this is just ancient, Star Wars or, ancient Sith technology or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just was part of it. So it wasn't. You're right. It wasn't overbearing at all.
Yeah, and I did like the aesthetic of these old temples, these old High Republic buildings and
Yeah.
everything.
And I like the old. It's one thing with the essences when you'd go and you'd pick up on like the old Jedi teachings because it wasn't all like fucking sunshines and rainbows.
No,
Yeah.
there were Jedi masters who were like annoyed with their Padawans.
Yeah,
and,
they're just
like,
real dicks.
yeah.
Which, by the way, have you started reading
Yes.
the Rise of the Red Blade?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of that in that
Yeah,
book.
There's a lot of there's a lot of real dicks.
Yeah, just pivoting real quick. Like this new novel that just came out a couple weeks ago, this Inquisitor Rise of the Red Blade, fucking awesome so far. I'm about halfway through it. But if you're one of those people that, think that the Jedi Order was fucked up
Hey, you all right?
and that, they were not perfect by any stretch, this just reinforces
Well,
that.
there's pieces of that. Well, there's a huge piece of that in the storyline itself in this game.
Right,
I mean,
with the whole Tantalor.
I mean, Dagan Gera is basically like that kid that needs to get punched in the face in grade school or
Right.
something. Yeah, I mean, he's a haughty, egotistical, Jedi.
Yeah.
I
I mean, sometimes I find myself listening to him and thinking,
by.
like, how the hell did they make you a Jedi?
Real quick, Jason, what if Kathy was getting off the 295 to come to your house? What exit number?
Haddonfield Berlin Road. I don't know the exit number off.
Jason doesn't know the exit number.
I can try to find it real
It's
quick.
Haddonfield Berlin Road.
Yeah.
Wait, 295? Exit 31. Get you off at Woodcrest Station.
Well, what about the Westmont station? Westmont train station. It's the next exit past that.
Woodcrest, not Westmont.
Woodcrest.
Woodcrest.
It's
sorry.
exit 31. It is Woodcrest Station.
What's
Exit.
his address? I'll text it to you.
Tell her to call Kristen. She's right in the house.
Yeah.
She
Jason
can probably-
said call Kristen. She's in the house.
She can probably guide her here.
Apparently, she's not answering.
Oh. Sorry about this, folks.
Well, it's like she's trying to get off the highway because apparently it's
Flooding?
really bad out there.
Yeah, no, I can believe it.
What's your address?
17.
Oh shit! No,
Yeah.
that's not a good idea.
Oh my god. Yeah, sorry, folks. We're dealing with multiple issues here. All right. Anyway,
Gonna edit this part out?
well, Dave's actually been doing the editing lately, so I don't know if he will or not.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, so Tanalorr is the big. I don't know. Would you call it a MacGuffin in this whole story?
Yeah,
It's
or how to get to Tanalorr, because it's a planet that isn't. You're not it. The MacGuffin really is the star compass.
Right.
Because you can't get to Tanalorr through normal through normal hyperspace lanes.
Right.
So you either have to navigate it or have a compass that helps you
Yeah.
navigate through sort of the maw, which is where it's this like piece of the universe that Tanalorr sits in.
Right. Yeah, you kind of think of them all almost like the thing from Solo, the thing around Kessel,
Yeah.
that whole abyss thing. It's very similar, space storms and all that. Very difficult to navigate. But once you get through that, there's this isolated planet, Tanalorr, which they had this brilliant plan to.
They had this brilliant plan to sort of relocate Jedi and Jedi teachings and use it as a base of operations for whatever resistance they're planning, because the Empire doesn't know about it and can't get to it.
Right. Yeah. So it's very difficult to get to, damn near impossible. So the High Republic people, though, they wanted to use it